was made to spec. But the problem with this beautiful ceramic vase is the same problem as that highly detailed car that we saw before, in that if it's done by a passionate individual or a hobbyist, that's great. But to try to build this up as a business becomes cumbersome, as it doesn't really scale. So how then do we go from mass to personalized production? We use a 3D printer. Machines capable of taking a digital description of a file and creating a tangible object from them. High definition, industrial strength machines capable of printing not only in high quality plastics, but also in ceramics, stainless steel, sterling silver, and many different variations of those available materials. Okay, so what is Shapeways? Well, we believe Shapeways is the place for everyone to make, buy, and sell exactly what they want. And it works in three main ways. The first way is that maybe you're just a shopper, and you come onto Shapeways, and you find your style, you find that product, you choose one of the many different materials it's able to be printed in. But best off, you can also contact and communicate with the designer of that product to have them specify that product exactly the way you want it, exactly to meet your needs. If you then order the product, we will print it on demand for you and ship it to you anywhere in the world. I've been asked if we ship to Korea, and yes, we certainly ship to Seoul in Korea, so please check out Shapeways. It also works to say you are that designer, so you are that maker. So you have that 3D file, that CAD file, and you upload it to Shapeways. Our software will then check that file for you, make sure that it's printable. We'll then tell you which of our 30 different material options it's able to be printed in. And from there, most importantly, we'll tell you what your cost is for printing the minimum run of any product, which is just one. So now that you know how much it's going to cost you to print that product, say you want to make it available for sale. So you open a Shapeways shop for free, and you put any amount of markup you want to on that item. Say the item costs you $10 to print. Say it costs you $100 to print. You then say, okay, that item, it cost me $100 to print, and I want to put a $100 markup on that item. So that item is now available in your Shapeways shop for $200 to anyone in the world, basically with an internet connection. When someone comes on and clicks to buy, Shapeways wants to handle everything for you, meaning we will handle payment processing on demand, we will manufacture that product on demand and ship it anywhere to your customers worldwide. After that, we will handle customer service after the order is placed as necessary. For all of that, mainly to cover our administrative costs, Shapeways will take just 3.5% of your markup. In this case, $3.50, leaving you with $96.50. So what does that mean? Well, it means a few things. First off, the time it takes to bring a product to market is drastically lower. An example that continues to blow my mind is when the initial iPad was released. It was a Friday in the spring of 2010. 4 days later, this great designer, inspired by the iPad, had created his own customizable iPad case, and it made it available for sale. So the time it took from him when he had this original idea of something to create from a brand new product to when it was actually made available for sale to his customer was just 4 days. It also means that products will get better faster. And we can also start incorporating our customers' wants and desires into those products as we iterate. Christina Westbrook is a great iPhone case designer on our site, and she has these beautiful, intricate iPhone cases. When she originally released her first version, customers were coming back with all sorts of great feedback and clamoring on the forums about things they wanted to see in version 2 and ideas they had for Christina. So she started to incorporate that user feedback very quickly and started to iterate on her next versions. And our next versions weren't months or years down the road, but rather in just weeks. So 2 years down the road, Christina wasn't working on her third or fourth version of her great and very popular steampunk iPhone case. She was working on her 25th version. It also means that our cost, our risk, our general investment of bringing a product to market is drastically lower as well. No longer do we have to wait for a mold to come back and move through thousands or tens of thousands of pieces, only soon to realize that we might want to iterate on that and then have to throw away all of the excess product that we haven't sold. Now, we can design a product and bring it to the market. And God forbid, if it doesn't sell, well, then we just go back and design another one. All we've lost is our time that it takes to design that product. Nothing lost in excess pieces that are never sold and then thrown away. I realize this is a lot of Apple accessories, and there's much more on Shapeways than just Apple accessories. I mentioned this idea of being able to open a Shapeways shop, and one of my all-time favorite Shapeways shops is that of Nervous System. Nervous System does beautiful 3D printed jewelry. And besides being beautiful stuff, the things that I really love about Nervous System is that they really leverage this technology in that every piece that they make is absolutely one of a kind and unique. Nervous System has written some incredible software that enables their customers to come on and start with a cuff or a bracelet or a ring, an earring, a pendant, what have you. And then they can start to mess around with the design to how they feel it looks the best. When they're finally ready, they can stop and click to buy. So that everyone that's walking around with one of these bone cuffs thinks that, oh, okay, you know, that's a similar bone cuff to mine in that we started with the same design, but mine's absolutely one of a kind. And I actually had a part in the design process of this really cool bracelet. Mind you, having no software or CAD ability at all. Theo Jansen did an incredible TED Talk on these big creatures, the strand beast, that propel themselves on the beach by fans in the Netherlands. Students of Theo Jansen came to him with a very scaled down version of his strand beast and wanted to make it available for sale on Shapeways. The coolest thing about this product, though, is that it's about this big. It has roughly 70 complex moving pieces. And this product is printed, fully assembled in just one print. On the right, you can see pulling the strand beast out of the nylon powder that it was printed from. I mentioned that the time it takes to bring a product to market is drastically lower, and we saw a great example a couple months ago. A fantastic fashion label, Kimberly Ovitz Designs, who was very popular and had many different clothing lines over the past few years, thought about getting into jewelry. So they came to Shapeways, and we paired them with a designer from our community to help them bring those models to life in 3D and CAD. What was most interesting about this is that this was for the fall 2013 fashion line, excuse me. So those products were all going to be available, say, September or October of this year. However, the actual fashion show for the fall line happens in February. So in February, during New York City Fashion Week, as you see a picture here, everyone got to see Kim's new clothes that were going to be available for this fall. They also saw the 3D printed jewelry she was going to have available. That jewelry, however, was available for sale 1 hour after the fashion show ended. So people could buy the fall line of jewelry just an hour later and have it on their doorstep in a few weeks. So what else are we seeing people make on Shapeways? Well, they're making very innovative home decor. Vases, espresso mugs, bottle openers, lampshades. People were making functional products. These glasses were 3D printed, except for the lenses, some headphone case holders as well. But remember, we're talking about products exactly the way you want them. So some people want to have a beautiful vase with some flowers in it on their bike, and other people want to figure out a way how to open a beer right after they finish riding their bike. People are pushing boundaries with this technology. Designer Michael Schmidt of Los Angeles came to us with this vision of a fully articulated 3D printed gown. And we paired him with a designer from our community, a great architect and designer named Francis Battanti of Brooklyn, New York. And Francis and Michael worked together to go from this idea on a computer screen to an actual garment that was worn by Dita Von Teese a couple months ago. Swarovski Crystals was so excited about this project that they ended up donating thousands of crystals to be incorporated into the dress. And that dress is now available for view in Swarovski headquarters in New York City or Los Angeles, and it's also about to go on a tour of museums as well, I believe. People ask me what the biggest barrier of entry to 3D printing is. I think in a word, it's education. Education first in terms of general awareness of the technology, then it's figuring out how you can best use it to utilize your needs. And third, most importantly, it's figuring out how to take those ideas and bring them to life in 3D CAD models. Because CAD modeling is really, really hard. But Shapeway's vision is to enable and inspire everyone in the world to use 3D printing. And one of the ways we're trying to do that is with our recently released RESTful API that enables software developers to make apps that create products. Those developers can choose any amount of materials they want to make available to their customers, and of course, put any amount of markup on those end products that come out that are then available for sale to our community. One of my all-time favorite designs is that of our sake set creator. And the sake set creator is so interesting because anyone with any amount or no CAD experience at all can come on, see this design, choose to make it their own by making it a completely different form by pulling on these different buttons. And when it's a form that they actually like and want to see, they'll then make it as smooth or as twisted as they want, choose the color of ceramic or any other material they want it printed in, and have it click to print and shipped directly to them. I have a video here. We'll go back quickly. So Shapeways is nothing without our community of designers, or this ecosystem that we've built. And there's no better way to try to describe what we do and why we think it's so powerful than to reach out to those hundreds of thousands of community members around the world. So we did that and put a short 2-minute film together that I want to share with you now.
As humans, we've always strived to create, to build something that will solve a problem or meet one of our needs.
How would you feel if you could hold some of your designs in your hand? Anyone like that? That's impossible. And so, well, let's assume it is possible.
I'm not a designer, but now that I'm seeing the possibilities of this technology, you start to see the world differently and you start to reimagine the objects around you.
People are taking the power of creation into their own hands.
Boom. Open up your little skull and pull out the idea and create it. Like, that's what Shapeways does in a nutshell.
3D printing is a way of making things element by element additively. The things that we're designing, you can't make any other way.
I can make objects bigger, smaller, stranger. There's no limit to the variation you can apply.
And I suddenly realized how much I was restrained by a lot of the technologies that were around before.
When something new comes to this home, she asks, have you bought it or have you made it?
If you look around us, we can buy any product we need to do whatever we want. What's missing, however, is our personal input into those products.
We have an idea, and then in the mail, the idea comes sort of as an object, and like, that's never existed before.
As a designer, you can concentrate on making the best object, the best product that you can, and Shapeways does the rest.
So we can make one of something and test it out. And all of this doesn't make any difference because there's no tooling, there's no molding.
There's no investment for a designer. It means also you can innovate faster.
there's no penalty for innovation.
This gives rise to a whole new way of solving problems.
It's mind-blowing to think that we can build something today that was literally impossible yesterday.
Thank you. So just quickly, where did Shapeways come from and where do we see ourselves going in the future? Shapeways was founded as part of the Philips company, specifically as part of the Philips Lifestyle Incubator program in 2007. We launched with this idea of enabling, inspiring everyone in the world, general consumers, to use 3D printing, and then came with that idea of opening a Shapeways shop. In the summer of 2010, we fully spun out of Philips to go seek VC financing, and we closed our first Series A round of VC financing in December of 2010 with Union Square Ventures along with Index Ventures. With that round, we opened up an office in Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and we bought some of these high-end industrial strength 3D printers. We also opened an office in New York City, which is now where our headquarters is. Our user base continued to grow drastically, and we realized that we needed to buy more of these printers. And more than that, we needed to figure out where we were going to store them, because as you saw in that short film, these are massive machines. So we went through a second round of VC financing, this time with Lux Capital leading, and with that, we went to open what we call our Factory of the Future in Long Island City, Queens. 25,000 square feet of space, which once it is fully up and operational, will have somewhere between 30 to 50 machines in it. We have a bunch of machines in there now and are running production and distribution out of there as well. We just announced last week that we've closed a Series C round of financing, this time with Andreessen Horowitz leading it, and now we're looking towards the future. We're really excited about having opened this second manufacturing facility, the first in New York City, the first in the United States. But that's not going to be the last one we open. We want to bring as many of these products as possible to as many people in the world, and we want to be as close to those people, to those customers, as we possibly can be. We want to enable and inspire entrepreneurs to start businesses, to not have to worry about anything, as one of the great designers, Michael Corneliuson, said in that film. We just want them to focus on making great stuff. So to bring it back to where we originally began, our desire, our innate need for personalized products is not met by mass manufacturing. Shapeways tries to solve that problem, though, and does by having printed millions of mainly unique models sent around the world already to everyone's taste. Some people want their own jewelry. Some people want their own little sigh on their desk. And I encourage you all to check out this new technology, to become part of what we think is a revolution, because we are very excited about the future, knowing that we've really only just begun. Thank you all so much.